It's another day. The engine harness is done. Painted them last night. They look freaking great. Hell, I was waiting on paint to dry last night. Let's get these put on. And you push those in first, and then these go in upside down, because these were all crusty and disgusting. So they look good now. Just like that. When you tighten that thing up, just go down till it touches. You don't have to wail away at that thing. It just needs to touch. Put these little bitty tins that just hold a bracket on, and they make them so freaking tight that when you take this off, it spins the valve cover bolt. Here, put the glow plug wires in now. Let's put those in first, and then I put sealants around here. Pop that in the groove there. Put sealant on it and smear the sealant around and seal that hole right there. But first, before we get anything going, let's get the glow plug wires in. That way, and then the dipstick will, yeah, they all get in the way. So glow plug wires, then dipstick tube, then EBP tube, in case you was wondering. Okay, engine harness is just about placed. Cam sits are down there. You got a little connector hooked to that. Goes up, the coolant line goes that way. I do not connect this until we're all the way done, because sometimes these harnesses will go in this hole, sometimes they'll go in that hole. I like to just wait to push this pin in until we get the heater core tube and the fuel lines on. So once we get all those on, then wherever that likes to rest at, I'll put it in there. Then we got the little clip here to go around the tensioner, and then one more clip there to go into the crank sensor. The IPR wire goes underneath the FICM wires. Make sure you run it under it. And it'll go around, we'll deal with that later when we put the heat shield on. Glow plug wire goes underneath here and over here and curves around and hooks in. I think I want fuel lines now. I think I'm ready for fuel. Let's do that. All right, I put the FICM on. I probably shouldn't have, because it's actually kind of in the way. I shouldn't have put it on yet, but it'll be all right. For the rear IPR bracket and the heat shield, get all that stuff set up. But right now, it's turbo time. Let's open up a brand new turbo. Got some hardware. Yep, good deal. Let's put that sucker on the truck. We're not gonna do anything to it. We're not gonna do anything to the cover. We're not doing nothing. We're just gonna go with it. I mean, oh, I'd really love to paint that back housing though. Maybe I'll just go ahead and just, no, we can't. We can't, I don't really want to mess with it, because just for some unforeseen reason, there's an issue. I want it to look stock. There's $1,000 freaking bill sitting right there. Over $1,000 bill. So, yeah, let's just leave that alone and ride with it. You don't see me going and painting injectors before I put them in. So when it comes to a new turbo, we're gonna put that sucker on there and just let her look how she is. Problem is, the back housing is gonna be covered with rust. It's gonna be brown fairly quick, but I mean, it is what it is. Don't forget, whenever you buy these turbos, change your heat shield. I see so many of these, like almost every single one that people have done themselves. They do not transfer the heat shield over to the other, their new turbo, and whatever. I mean, just another time, don't be a dumbass, change your stuff. All right, I think Julie's been inspecting, and slight chance we might have a problem. Let's see if the scratches take that line away. If that's a casting line, or is that a crack? I don't know, guys. That looks like a crack to me.
I'm gonna call our supplier.
Oh, it goes up and stops. Looks like a casting. I mean, it could be a casting line, a little parting line, but I don't think so. I think it's a freaking crack. Look at that one too. That looks like a crack. And how it goes and it stops. See, they already tested it. I have to get the magnifying glass out to see closer. Because, you know, you can scratch it, and if the line goes away, then it's just a casting line. But if you scratch down and the cut still shows, then it could be cracked. Now, if that's the case, we're gonna run crankcase ventilation through this. There's gonna be oil coming out all over the place inside this turbo. There'll be oil leaking here, and there'll be oil leaking here, if that is a crack all the way through. And so at that point, you would say if that's the only imperfection, then we can just take the compressor housing off the other turbo, I guess. This is supposed to be new though. I mean, It might be new, just crappy casting. What's that down there? Don't they look like cracks? Normally these are not broken like this. What is stuck in it? Yeah, obviously this was dropped or drug across something, because normally they do not have damages on that. Like these covers, these caps, look how they're, I mean, they package it with foam. It should be good.
There's a hole through the back of it. I didn't look at the bottom of the box.
Yeah. They dropped it. They dropped it and broke the whole damn thing, so that's done. I mean,
This is broke too?
I don't even want to put it on. Well, I mean, we're already starting behind the ball. Look, it's got obviously witness marks of either shipping damage, packing damage, something. The cracks on the front, I'm not good with that. I mean, granted, we can take the compressor housing off. We can do that. Take it off and put the other one on. Sounds like that might be our deal, but I still don't like it. Don't like it. Don't drop the freaking turbo. Be careful. That's not good. And that's not $1,000 right there. I mean, maybe they set it down and there is no foam where the bottom of the turbo was actually at. So that's packaging error. They need to learn a little from Felpro. Felpro has all kinds of packaging errors. Maybe they're just hanging out next to each other. Yeah, I don't know that we're putting that on. Honestly, if it's been dropped and a build of this caliber right here, and we got a turbo that's been dropped, no, give me another one. I mean, we could buy some old used reman crap off anyone. We didn't, I mean, this was supposed to be brand new. Yeah, I mean, Frank's has been cleaned. We could put it back on the truck.
They're going to be dickheads and not send us another one by tomorrow.
Yeah, because I want a whole other one. I don't even want to put it on. I don't even want to. Let's button it back up, put it back in the box, and get the hell out of here. We'll never buy another freaking thing from these sons of bitches. We're going to run out of places to buy stuff. I'm not going to give people money that suck. And if they don't take care of this, then they suck. Either way, no matter what, we are not putting this one in. So let's box it back up and there you go. Say bye-bye. Close it up. Don't ever come back again. Really wanted to set that freaking turbo on there, and we got to fix the exhaust. Look down here. Look how close that is to the transmission. Like if you look down the exhaust pipe right there, if it keeps going straight, it's like right on the transmission cross member. So we have to address that. That's kind of a drag right there. Look how close it is. Well, so the turbo being not good is, I don't know, just makes us look at other stuff, I guess. Just gives me time to sit and look around. So 2 separate instances have happened with this turbo right here. The first thing that happened was somebody saw that it had cracks, or it was cracked, or they scratched it because it was ground off at the cracks on that turbo. And so, okay, so it had a little issue. They checked it, got the grinder out, grinded a little bit. Some reason it looks like it is a crack, but for some reason they let it go on past that. They ground on it and then let it go. And then after that, it got dropped. So the same turbo got 2 instances banged up on them. I don't want nothing to do with that turbo. I don't want it. I don't even want it. Take it out in the backyard and beat the shit out of yourself with it. So here we are, 2 years later. We are going to compare a Ford Blue Spring to a Ford Blue Spring. So we're looking at a maintenance item. Any kit that you're going to buy is going to have a hole. I mean, I put them on before, but they got crap everywhere, lines everywhere. Yeah, I mean, why can't we regulate it down there or something? I don't freaking know. I don't know. But Ford Blue Spring is a maintenance item. Say bye-bye, little guy. We'll see you in 2 years. You know, I swear to goodness, I've seen this messed up so many freaking times. I mean, I've seen Blue Spring. I saw a truck came in from a guy that knew, yeah, whatever, it's the same old story. Guy that knew how to work on trucks. It came in, I swear to God, it had a spring that I think came out of a Bix pen. out of a click pin. It was hilarious. It had like 1 pound of pressure. It's ridiculous. Now is when we find all the stuff that we forgot to get done. Like lifting eyes. Okay, I've never really showed you guys this. Actually, this is what I do with lifting eyes. Cut them. It holds the fuel line right there. Cut them off. You don't need no lifting eyes on this freaking engine. You ain't gonna lift the engine out by the lifting eyes any freaking way. So get them the hell off of there. So put these, paint it, cut it, because we need that bracket to hold it on there. But I'm obviously waiting and holding it in front of the fire. They're sending us a turbo. We might have it tomorrow. We will find out if it's tomorrow. She's putting a packing label on it. So, I mean, we didn't have to stomp our feet too freaking loud, did we? They just made it okay. That's nice. But for now, let's check all these power steering lines and see, because we go O'Reilly's with power steering lines, and make sure we got the right ones. It's not far-fetched that happens a lot. I think that we've got a good part, like the turbo, and we wait until it's time to grab it and put it on before we look at it. Like 0 hour. Like right now is 0 hour for that freaking turbo. Yeah, I mean, everything is waiting on it. Can't do the exhaust, can't do the Y-pipe, heat shield, none of that stuff. Can't do anything till the turbo's on. Coolant, like, okay, let's just look at this. Okay, from right here, I would normally have turbo and then turbo inlet pipe, and then we put the 90-degree coolant hose on, up and over. It hangs over the turbo inlet pipe, and then I work my way, EGR valve, intake elbow, and then alternator. But now let's go down underneath, and I'm gonna go down and do AC compressor. We need an accumulator. Wow, see, yeah, now we're waiting on AC too. We don't even have to do work to wait on anything. We just sit here and think. We come up with stuff that we spaced off. We ground it off. Grind off your grounds, and go over it, and we'll go ahead and touch off, paint it back over it. It's good, coated. So don't forget the other ground too. Up at the top is pretty nasty. I don't know what I'm gonna do there. I'm not sure yet. It's disgusting. I might want to take a towel and brake clean and wipe it and then do it right before I hook it up. But now all we're doing is getting the connections on the cab. They're all 13s. We got to paint all of them, grind all of them. So when I'm gonna do grounds,
This is the chassis,
do
not the cab.
whatever. Okay, whatever I said. Yeah. Thanks to the O'Reilly's line, we don't have the bracket. They deem it not needed, so we're gonna
Maybe clean that a little better.
maybe. Let's go here. We got a hose from Ford for that.
Yeah, it goes up there like that.
Okay, right there. Probably a good thing we did that. This clamp is sprung anyways. The clamp is. Maybe they tried to get it off and couldn't and gave up, or they took it off and they did something. I don't know. We're gonna get rid of all of it and put a new one on. Yeah. Something like that.
All right.
See if I can get it off of there.
We tapped it with the little hammer and stuck the screwdriver in between there.
Yeah. There we go.
Now I need to go put it in the cleaner. Clean it, paint it.
There we go. Get that off. Get that off. Now we can take that off.
Yes.
And how the hell was it on there?
Oh, you just touched that with your nasty hands? Really? Okay, I guess I won't clean it or paint it. I was just looking at their Teflon O-ring. It looks like 3 times wider than a Ford one.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Let's see if we can't get it squeezed back together.
Okay.
It's pretty good. We might have bent that a little more than it should have been. Might
Oh,
need to
squeeze.
straighten it.
Squeeze it tight.
Yeah.
I did squeeze it. Too tight. It's holding on like son of a gun now.
You know, wipe it off and go give it a quick shot of paint, or paint it after it's on the pump. Now we'll get the line on the pump.
Really nice when we think enough to keep these parts. That goes right there. And then this power steering line that we're going goes from gear to hydro boost, gearbox to hydro boost. That one goes to the bottom. We got to put the little O-rings in it. 11, 12 quarts, dump it in right now. We'll do like the first initial crank to build, trying to build oil pressure. At the same time, we'll try to build transmission line pressure, and we'll just basically, it'll displace all that fluid. So while we're cranking, we're not only waiting for ICP to build and building low pressure oil, we're also monitoring the transmission level because it's going to drop rapidly. When it starts is another one. We'll start it, and I will not put it in gear until it's up on the stick. Julie likes to set them down like this after she pours it and get that last little bit out. Yep, I got 11 in there right now. You know, I really don't remember how many we put in there. I don't freaking know. I used to do 9, 11, 13, I don't freaking know. I got 11 in there though. We got 1 quart sitting right there waiting. Of course, it'll take a lot more than that. I think it takes like, especially a torque converter empty, we might need a, like, it might swallow up almost a whole other case. Dang. So I just went and looked it up from an empty fill, 17.5 quarts. Okay, so we got 11 in there now. That's enough to actually pump quite a bit and then throw some more in frantically because we don't want to put it all in. It won't physically fit in the pan. It's probably about to pour out of the tube. But on the other side of that, that is a fairly good leak checker to actually fill it all the way up to there and let the pan gasket be completely submerged in oil, right? Then, then we see if it leaks, you know, yeah. SMB cab mounts on the front.
Yep. Ah. Put that down in there like that.
Then that like that?
Well, you're kind of standing where I was standing. And yeah, I just kind of. Kind of squish. It's like an O-ring gasket.
She's got that down. Pay attention. It's funny they don't stay on there without it being.
The bolt won't stay.
Maybe we suck it up in there.
There's nothing for it to thread into. Oh, well, at least they're on. We won't.
They're on. They're there. We can set the cab down on it. And then if we have it so that we can just push the bolt up to the bottom and go right up through it. I mean, it's kind of going to be a two-person deal, isn't it?
Yep.
Will it press in there, though? I'll take that bottom back out. Hang on. You sure it won't smash up in there and let it stay? Like we put a nut on it and tighten it down, pre-tighten it?
Maybe.
So this is the bolt that came with it. It's actually, looks like a factory bolt. Now, what I wanted to know is, will that, oh no, that just goes up and sits flat. Okay.
Yeah. But see, there's this.
If it had any kind of crush fitting to it.
I think that might suck into that if we push it hard enough.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I probably should have looked at it before, but we didn't. So we just need to squeeze it together. I kind of like to do that now.
Back in you go.
Somehow. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and pre-squeeze it together now. And put a 15, looks like a 15 on the bottom, maybe an 18 on the top, and just lightly squeeze it down. That way the bottom stays put. Okay, enough with that. How about we get a new fuel filter cap for the fuel. Since we're waiting on the turbo, we're kind of stalling right now. It's about almost 5 o'clock. And otherwise I'd be going. We'd probably be starting it tonight or something. I don't know. At least get the cab down tonight for sure. But well, I say that, but who knows? Who knows what kind of headache we're going to get into with the exhaust. So, you know, right now let's do fuel. Let's get fuel all done, get fuel pressure. I'm going to check fuel pressure and yeah, let's do that right now. On a fresh install, I oil up the O-ring and I throw a little oil inside of there and then make sure the housing where the O-ring meets right there has oil. Now, when you're in service, you don't have to. That's same for the oil filter as well. You don't have to oil the O-ring when you do an oil change. It's just that you don't need it. It'll thread down in there. It's like the pores still have oil in them. But when we get done, like right now, there is nothing. It's completely clean. It's dry, so it'll be a mess. You try to thread that on without oiling it. But I do not oil it every time. Try it sometime. Okay, 6.0 priming fuel. I've got one of those videos. Maybe it's up there. Up there, it is taking off like a rocket. It's like a 45-degree angle on the views. It gets like, I don't know how it gets 2,000, 4,000 views a month every month, and it has for the last 2 years. It's freaking crazy. But priming fuel. We're gonna try it with a jump box this time though, because the battery's outside. We actually don't have our little cart here. But I got the little jumper wire, salvage yard find. Plug it into the jumper that goes to the fuel pump. We only disconnect it right there. And we'll hook it up to there. Now watch this until it bubbles. And once that does, it gets done bubbling and almost fills up, then I'll put the cap on. And then we got the gauge set up. And we'll leak check too. Make sure we ain't got no leaks. So I guess, go for it. Off. Okay, it helps to shut it off for a minute. Shut it off because there are times when it'll just sit there and run forever and not pick up any prime. So it's got a little steam coming out of there. There it goes. Do not put your cap and cap it up and then think you're gonna push all that air out of there. Stop. Whew. Okay, well, there it is. Let that bubble down. Now you could say that we've got, see the little drain right there? Draining it out. So with that drain right there also, you could thread the filter down real slow and it should push it all past the return. If it is pretty full though, if you have a fresh filter, remember the filter soaks up a bunch of fuel. So remember that was full and it was draining out of the bleeder. It might let a little bit squeeze out, but it's not going to be a big mess. Two-handed ratcheting.
And please use a 24 millimeter.
Yeah, don't use half-inch. Don't use half-inch drive. Okay. Now we'll kick it back on, and now we're going to check fuel pressure. Let's just do it right now. Go for it. Holy shit, man, 68 pounds. Okay, now we'll come back here.
I don't hear anything yet.
What's the gauge say? You will hear the return. Once it's all full, you'll hear the return. Well, I don't remember how much fuel's in it, but you will hear it coming out of here. Nothing yet. There it goes. You can hear the air.
Are you done with the
Yeah, we're under 70 pounds. It's relaxing down a little bit. You can see the spring as air gets into the pump. Now we're down to 66 pounds. Yeah, it's let's take this off and look around all this, make sure that it's a good chance to check all these connections, check your banjos on the front. And really, it's a real good time to not have any oil in it and take the drain plug out and make sure your injector is all sealed up. But that's a real long test. That takes a long time to let it sit there and run. I mean, it looks like we're good to go. Just hovering over 65 pounds, under 70. I like the jump box. We're gonna use that from now on. Just push that in there. Look, it went good there. We're just, I like it. Now, since it seems like it's gotten all the air out and it's just running an endless loop of fuel, every now and then you get a little bit. But from there, we'll go ahead and kick it off and then just let it sit. Do not get I don't get in a hurry to unhook everything. Shut it off, let it sit. I mean, find something else real quick you can do, and then maybe 10 minutes later, come back and kick it back on again with everything all set up. And let's make sure it does the same thing twice. Yeah, I'm waiting on the lower radiator hose because the stabilizer is going to be here. Yeah, I know. I could go ahead and put the lower hose on, but that's all I'm going to do, and I don't want to. I'd rather go ahead and have it all gone, get the stabilizer on, then the hose, then the pulley, elbow, alternator. Well, after turbo. Shit, turbo. We just keep coming back to turbo. I'm just going to wait here until the turbo gets here. I have seen a lot of Blue Springs that gets screwed up and installed, or even not even screwed up and installed, just they don't seat right, or something's just not happy with it. So I mean, I really feel anytime you touch that Blue Spring or anytime you touch the regulator, we need at least double check in the conditions we're at. Now, you can't check it running down the road consuming fuel, but at least we can make sure that it's got the 60 pounds of pressure it needs. And check. When you put the oil filter on, you notice how it doesn't go down all the way? Like those little jumps right there. Okay, remember those jumps. Now, we're gonna fill this up with oil and all the way to the top, and then as the oil is draining out, when I get done filling it, it's a hurry up point right then. Fill it all the way up, and as the oil starts to drain down, take this filter and put it down in there and spin it on that, because if you just try to push it down, you will splash oil out all over the freaking place. So spin it down real slow, and you can just keep the oil at the top level, and by the time you get down to the bottom, it should be done. Now that I explained it, let's just do it real quick. It's like a mad dash. Pour it fast, fast, fast. We want to fill it up because it's draining right now out of the drain valve over on the driver's side head. There's a hole in there in the block. Fill it all the way up. Set it down. Now, see, imagine how big of a mess you can make. So those little jumps that it's catching, you have to be careful with them and spin them down. You see the oil going, staying at the top? Mm-hmm. Now, pop it down and let's go. From there, we just get it. Okay, now we don't have to wait for that to completely fill up. It should be mostly full, and we'll build oil pressure faster. That's nice. Exhaust got to get done, the Y pipe, heat shield, all that stuff needs to be put on. And pretty much, I've done about all I want to do until, I mean, yeah, you could say I could go ahead and put some stuff on down here just a little bit. But I'm gonna go ahead and do the stabilizer, and then I can just carry on, not have to remember a bunch of crap. Because the stabilizer should be here tomorrow morning with the turbo on the same truck. Put some oil in it. Those manifolds might have pits in them, but they look good, they're surfaced. I do kind of just smear around sealant right there. I put it on the tube and then put it in and then just close the gap with my finger. It works. New lines on all the power steering. This is a balanced 10 over rebuild. Rotating assembly has been balanced. Fresh set of injectors. We're getting a new OE Garrett turbo. That's pretty much, and then everything else we do. Yeah, this had a cracked injector tip, and that's why we really opted to go for fresh injectors. The other injectors got subjected to the same condition that cracked one did, so there's what I was talking about with the wire. The fuel line goes behind the heater core, and the engine harness goes behind the fuel line. Down through the little hole right there. Compressor, AC compressor. Yeah. Velcro gaskets. All right.
You don't want me to put half of the other one in?
I don't care. All right. That's it, end of the day. See you tomorrow with a turbo.